Hi, this is Tyrone, and welcome to another episode of the Fashion Insider Trading Tips. And this week, we're going to talk about when Vogue shows up. Um, when Vogue shows up unexpectedly. Um, Last week, we talked about when Vogue calls and simple life lessons. This week, we go what happens when Vogue shows up unexpectedly. So, as usual, I'm going to share a story. I want to share a story. There's this model. One day, I was in the agency, and the receptionist called, and she said, Tyrone, there's this young girl here, this model here, and she can't remember who she's supposed to see or meet. She had an appointment, and so if I could come out and meet with her? I said, sure. So I went out, sat with her. There was this beautiful blonde. And I sat down and I said, what's your name? She told me her name and stuff there. She said, I can't remember the name of the agency I'm supposed to go to or the name of the agent I'm supposed to meet. She had lost the paper. I guess someone had made an appointment for her to go to meet with the agency because she was switching agencies. And she had literally was about to leave her other agency. And so I sat down and talked to her, and I said, tell me more about who you are. It turned out she was a big Gucci model, and she had done Vogue and all that stuff there. So she said, we started talking, and we just immediately hit it off, right? Before she even told me that she did Gucci, we started just chatting and laughing, because what we found quite funny was when she said, I don't even know which agency I have the appointment with. She says, I can't remember who it is. The funny thing is, where our office was, where the agency that I was working at was, there were a few other agencies close by. There was, I think, 2 or 3 other agencies close by. So I'm going to use an example. Okay, say if, and don't quote me on this, if, say our address was like 400 Broadway, right? There's an agency next door that was a really big agency that their address was like 402 Broadway, right? So this is just an example. This is not a real, address of where an agency was. So, and then there was another agency not far from there. I think 2 other agencies not far from. And so she couldn't remember which agency, but what she had done, she knew it was on that street. And she walked into the lobby where our office was, and she said, is there a model agency in there? And they said, yeah, upstairs. And they told her the floor and room number, and she came up, and she figured it must be our agency. And anyways, by the time we were laughing about it because she couldn't remember which agency or who. So in the end, she said, I like you, so I want you to represent me. So, oh, cool. So here it is. Most agents, we spend days, evenings, nights writing emails or finding ways to strategies to get our models into Vogue. And we wait for that call to come in when Vogue calls and say, yeah, we like to shoot your model and stuff there. But for me on that day, God just sent this girl by divine accident, just had her to forget to lose the paper with the address and the name of the agency and the exact person that she was supposed to see. But the blessing was, I got the blessing. So in the end, we found out it was the agency next door that she had the appointment with. And that agency, that really big agency, was the one that she was supposed to be going to. They knew who she was, and it was just a formality of meeting with them because she was switching agencies. In the end, they lost, and I gained. And it reminds me of another incident that happened, but totally different. And some of you may have heard me share this story before of years before. Um, this young girl walking, this a bit waifish. It was in the 90s, and that wave period that was going on there. And she was only about 5, 6, and she walked in and she had a little shopping bag, plastic bag, kind of thing there. And she walked in, she says, I want to speak to her. And turned out she was English. And said, that's me. And she said, the studio told me to come by and see you and to let you know that I should model. And she was only about 5, 6. But I thought, okay, I'm going to be, as usual, polite and talk to her and explain that, she needs to have pictures and stuff there. So I'm telling her she didn't say which studio it was that I told her to come to me when I first met her there. And I said, oh, okay, so you want to be a model? We need to get some photos. Do you have any photos? Or we may have to do a test or stuff there. And she said, hold on. And she opened up the plastic bag. I think it was a plastic bag, a shopping bag from the supermarket. And she took out this issue of Vogue. And she opened it. And she goes through it. And then she finds these pages of pictures of her in Vogue. It's so funny, you can't make these things up. She had already shot with Vogue, and when I looked down at the credit, the photographer was this famous Vogue photographer. It turned out this girl was part of the royal family. It wasn't a big senior royal or anything like that. She was, I think, the niece of one of the royal members. But she was so unassuming. And it's just the way our God sends these gifts, unexpected gifts, in certain packages that you don't expect. And for me, it just a thought that there is this Vogue photographer who I always love working with, we've done so much work with, and he had thought of sending this girl to us for us to represent. Funny thing is, that girl was even interested in modeling. Her focus, her interest was in comic books. She loved comic books. And in fact, most people didn't even know who she was, but she was working part-time at a comic book store. It's just so funny how life is, because that's what she enjoyed. And again, as agents, when I was an agent, we stayed by the phone. We try to find ways to get Vogue to like our girl and wait for that call to come in. And we'd pray that the model editor would pray that she would literally one day just call us and just say, yeah, send her to so-and-so, and we want to book her for so-and-so, with so-and-so photographer and stuff there. And just the way how life is, right? And it goes back to what I want to share, is that how sometimes, maybe if I'd been rude to that girl, because she came in, she was short, and normally models are like 5'9", 5'10", and over. She was tiny, and she looked a bit just waifish, just ordinary. But I took the time to talk to her, talk to both models, and end up getting blessed by representing both. And again, it's the way our God works in such majestic and beautiful ways to send our Vogues in ways that we don't expect. He shows up and shows out. Amazing way of Christ's work. He just shows up and shows his way of loving us and blessing us. That's my message for this week. Trust the agent, the Lord. Trust him with all your heart, your mind, and soul. Very important. And whatever you do, put him first. Okay, everyone. Have a blessed weekend. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. And I'll speak to you again soon. God bless you. Bye.